INB Minister Manish Tewari is a very emphatic speaker on issues relating to his party and is part of the Congress brigade, specially authorized to take on the opposition, especially Narendra Modi. Lawyer turned politician, he's been the head of the students' wing of the Congress and has also headed the Indian Youth Congress, known for his acerbic tone, whether it is on the social media or in sound bites, especially when he takes on the opposition party, the BJP, and its prime ministerial candidate, Narendra Modi. Today, on Real Politik, we have with us Information and Broadcasting Minister Manish Tewari. Yeah, we are all set. When the Aam Aadmi Party was set up last November, Manish Tewari was the one to say that we welcome another of the 1453 political parties in the fray. Today, I'm dying to ask him the question, has he changed his mind? Did he take the Aam Aadmi Party just a little too lightly? Do you think this election, as it was being made out to be, is a referendum on the war between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi?
Well, I think, Navika, you're absolutely correct that the election results are disappointing. It's a cause of concern and the Congress needs to introspect on it. However, if you look at things in a larger perspective, there have been about 29 assembly elections since 2009. The Congress has won 12, the BJP and its allies have won 8, and others have won 8, and I think one has gone to somebody else. So therefore, that's how the figure of 29 ends up. So in a sense, if you remove yourself from the immediate and, take a holistic picture, even in the assembly elections, the Congress has not ended up doing very badly in the larger context. But yes, I do not dispute your point that coming as they do on the eve of a parliament elections, these results are disappointing and they do call for serious introspection within us as to why we've not been able to possibly communicate, all that we have done over the past 10 years effectively to the people.
Is it just a communication problem? Because you've brought out a lot of schemes, for example, the right to food, the Narega, the farm loan waiver last time in 2008 when you, on the back of which you won the 2009 elections. You've done all of that, the direct cash transfers. Still, the message that has gone to the voter is a government that's riddled with corruption. It's a government that is very insensitive to the price rise situation, and that seems to be the verdict of the people on the ground. So somewhere is the Congress miscalculating the way it's looking at what needs to be done?
Well, let me deal with both your issues separately. On the question of corruption, I think the inflection point came in the November of 2010 when we did not stand up firmly enough and tell the C&AG that it is too late to teach him developmental economics when he came out with that astronomical figure of 1,76,000 crores, a figure which has been
So you're saying the problem was with the C&AG and not with the government?
If you read the JPC report and if you look at the subsequent auction process, what have you got in terms of real revenue? 1,722 crores upfront and a commitment of 7,671 crores, as opposed to 14,000 crores which you had got, by giving licenses through the administrative route. And if you read the joint parliamentary committee...
So are you saying administrative route is better than the auction route? Is that your argument?
I'm not making that argument that one is better over the other. The argument that I'm making is that when that report was tabled in November 2010, we should have stood up firmly and squarely and said that, look, we stand by the policy because the policy has paid dividends. Yes, if the C&AG has pointed out procedural lapses in allocation, we cancel the licenses and then we'll follow whatever the directions of the court are. So therefore, if you look at it, when you talk about it perceptionally, I think from the November of 2010, the kind of perception which erroneously started getting built up, unfortunately, we were not able to surmount it.
How could you call it an erroneous perception when a minister, the telecom minister at that time, actually went to jail? Now, the question is that either corruption has occurred or it's a perception problem that the C and AG created. If there's only a perception problem, then nobody would have gone to jail. In this case, we're talking about a minister in the government who went to jail. So it's not just about perception, it's about reality.
Navika, I think you need to make a distinction between an investigation and a conviction. During a process of investigation, if somebody is detained, that is very different from being convicted. At this point in time, as we speak, those matters are still playing themselves out in the court. They are sub judice. I do not want to comment on it, essentially because we do not want to prejudice the trial one way or the other. But you were talking about a perceptional issue, and I was replying to the perceptional question that had we been far more upfront and far more forthright in putting across our point of view aggressively, and I hold myself equally responsible because facts as they have played out, the Joint Parliamentary Committee report, which
nobody believes, the opposition doesn't believe. There's a deadlock in Parliament because of the JPC report.
The opposition voted. That report was adopted 16 to 11. 11 opposition members did not walk out of the Joint Parliamentary Committee. They voted against it. They tabled a dissent note. That dissent note is a part of the Joint Parliamentary...
But they say it's been edited.
Well, in the sense, whether it's been edited or not, that is really between them and the chairperson of the Joint Parliamentary Committee. But that does not take away from the fact that a rigorous process was followed over a period of 2.5 years.
Mr. Manish Tewari, the last time you did introspection, what we're talking about, was the A.K. Antony committee which went into the then election results of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Goa, 5 elections that happened together. And the key findings of that particular report was that the Congress party suffered losses because of price rise, perception of corruption, wrong ticket distribution, controversial campaigning and disconnect with people and the grassroots worker. Aren't these the same issues that you're battling with today as well?
Well, Navika, between the Uttar Pradesh elections and the current round of elections, I think you perhaps forget that we also had Himachal Pradesh, which we won. We also had Uttarakhand, which we won.
Very narrowly.
Which we also had Karnataka, which we won decisively. So therefore, if there were narrow victories, there were decisive victories also. So therefore, in politics, you win some, you lose some. The Congress has the ability to be able to rise like a phoenix, I will not say from the ashes. And then you've had different waves of politics in this country. You had the TDP phenomena in 83. You had the ASU phenomena in 1985. You had the BSP phenomena coming in later. And so therefore at different points in time, we have dealt with different phenomena which have come into the political stream, enriched it, but still continue to persevere and march on.
You're talking about these phenomena. I want to ask you the question of the Aam Aadmi Party. You've been an extremely vociferous critic, so to speak, of the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, last year in November when they launched their party, you said there are 1,453 political parties. We welcome another one. Do you think you took them too lightly at that stage, and would you change your opinion now after this spectacular debut that they've made?
Well, I think I need to congratulate them because after all they have made a debut and they have made an impressive debut. There's obviously no taking away from that. But then, sorry to sound cynical, but one swallow does not make a summer. They've had one election. They've done well. All the best to them.
What happens to the Aam Aadmi Party if it goes national? Does it give Congress nightmares if Aam Aadmi Party becomes an alternative in different states in the Lok Sabha elections?
Look, if you look at the Indian National Congress in a perspective, we have the communists to deal with in Kerala. We have the PDP at this point in time to deal with in Jammu and Kashmir. We deal with the Akali Dal as an opposition in Punjab and with various other political parties. So therefore, we are already dealing with a multifarious array of people who are in the opposition and against us. So therefore, if the Aam Aadmi Party does decide to, branch out of Delhi, all the best to them. We'll cross the bridge when we come to it.
Kumar Vishwas has said he'll take on Rahul Gandhi from Amethi. Do you take that war cry seriously?
Well, I think in democracy, everybody has a right to contest from wherever they want to. So therefore, if the Aam Aadmi Party or any other party decides to field a candidate against Mr. Rahul Gandhi or against me, or for that matter against Mr. Sibal or any of our other people, I think that's their prerogative. Ultimately, in a democracy, people are the final arbiters. People are God. And therefore, we'll take our track record to the people. If they elect us, we'll continue to serve them. If they reject us, we'll still continue to serve them. As very famously one very veteran politician said, that if you are not in the Lok Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha, then you're always in the Jan Sabha.
We'll take a short break at this point, and when we come back, we'll look at this entire phenomena called Rahul Gandhi and how Rahul Gandhi has fared in these state elections. Back after a short break. We've seen several state elections. When you win, we have statements coming in from leaders, including the Prime Minister, who said after the Karnataka win, Rahul took a leading role in campaigning and worked hard. I congratulate the Congress workers of Karnataka. Salman Khurshid said, I would like to thank the people of Karnataka for voting the Congress party and for Rahul Gandhi for leading the party to victory in this BJP ruled state. But when it comes to defeats, especially the UP defeat, we saw the Congress party doing what it does best, shielding Rahul Gandhi. And the statements that came out were, this lack of trust is not for Rahul Gandhi, but the state leadership and the party. We see a similar approach in these elections as well.
Well, I think, Navika, you just need to rewind back to the election results day of UP in 2012, if my memory serves me correctly. Mr. Rahul Gandhi came out, took it squarely on the chin, said that, look, I led the campaign. If there has been a defeat, I accept responsibility for that. So therefore, let's, dehorse the noise for a moment and look at the person himself. He came out, without mincing any words, said, look, yes, I led the campaign, I take the responsibility. Even the other day, when we had this unfortunate situation in these 4 states, both the Honorable Congress President and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, they stepped up to the plate and said that yes, the results have been disappointing, the verdict is against us and we need to introspect. So therefore, there is no question of shirking responsibility at all under any circumstances. You see, when you lead, right, obviously, if there is a victory, the victory gets credited to your account. If there is a defeat, you take responsibility, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been man enough to do it, on more than one occasion.
Also, the question is that Rahul Gandhi, when he made that statement just a few days ago after the results of the state assembly elections, he said that he's going to make changes in the party like never before. You can't even imagine. He's been playing this outsider card within the party for far too long.
Well, I think, you need to sort of understand this in a perspective, especially the position that he comes from. He has a particular view, which of course he's articulated, he's implemented in the case of the mass organizations of the Congress party, to try and open the doors of the party to younger people, to do things differently, to democratize the party. So therefore,
but there's still sons and daughters of Congress leaders who are making it to the Youth Congress. That's the way many within the Congress look at this entire phenomenon of change that Rahul Gandhi is trying to bring. Since 2007, nothing seems to have changed on the ground.
Well, they're sons and daughters of BJP leaders who are members of parliament. So therefore, the fact is that in a certain...
The BJP will pay for its problems when it comes to it, but the Congress is already paying.
But in a certain circumstance, if you look at it, if suppose somebody belongs to a political family, or his father's been a minister, or mother's been a minister, or a member of parliament, and he's worked his way through the ranks, do you think it would not be inappropriate or perhaps even a crime to hold his parentage against him if the person has worked? If the person has not worked, I can understand, if he's got it on a silver platter. But if he's worked his way through the party, then obviously I think he needs to be treated on par with everybody else.
Rahul Gandhi says he has a lot to learn from the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has virtually practiced what Rahul set out to do within his own party. They've really opened up the process of democratization of a political party by getting all and sundry to come and join on a common platform. Do you think the Congress somewhere is now psyched by the Aam Aadmi Party and the success that it's
Well, first of all, I think Mr. Gandhi's statement underscores the intrinsic humility in his personality. To stand up and say that, look, we need to learn, and we need to learn from somebody who's just made their debut in politics. It calls for a lot of internal conviction and humility to be able to do that.
But you do admit that it is shifting to personalities.
I do admit that to a very substantial extent, in addition to issues, personalities, because given the nature of the medium, whereby the personality is omnipotent or omnipresent, and an issue is omniscient or is abstract. So therefore, I think given that the dynamics of the entire political discourse have been changed by technology, we need to sort of be cognizant.
So now that personalities are important, will that candidate be projected in advance, and will it be Rahul Gandhi who will take the mantle on fair and square this time around?
Well, in 2009 also we had projected a candidate in advance, because a manifesto is released before an election really starts playing itself out, and Dr. Manmohan Singh was projected as our Prime Minister. And you're absolutely correct, there is a large body of opinion within the Congress party which feels that Mr. Rahul Gandhi should take the bull by the horns and should lead the Congress into battle. But essentially, as I earlier said, this is a call which the Honorable Congress President, in consultation with the other senior leadership of the party, needs to take.
After the rout of the Congress in the recent elections, there is a sense of underconfidence amongst Congress leaders preparing for Lok Sabha elections. And I wanted to get a sense from Manish Tewari, who has faced defeat in Lok Sabha polls of 2004 before he won the 2009 elections, how he was looking at the 2014 elections. Manish, the question is that you've just had, on the eve of the 2014 elections, a bitter loss in 4 state elections. You are an MP from Ludhiana. How do you feel personally as a contestant of the 2014 elections? Are you nervous about the elections, given that there seems to be, at least many analysts calling it a wave against the Congress?
Well, Navika, if the party does decide to field me in 2014, the fact is that I fought an election in 2004 which I narrowly lost. In 2009 when we fought, it was right after 26/11. It was after a defeat in 2 states. Yes, we did win Delhi and Rajasthan, which has not gone to our kitty. So therefore you take every election as it comes. And my own experience of elections is that every election is intrinsically local. So therefore you have this discourse, which goes on subliminally in the background. But when you are out campaigning, actually what you are dealing with is really micro-level issues.
Of course, are loath to admit Modi's success, but you just said that personalities are counting in these elections, however difficult it is for you to admit. So personality quotient can only come from Narendra Modi in these elections.
Well, personality quotient, comes from different situations, Navika. As I pointed out to you in the late 80s, the personality quotient at that point in time, to some extent, had come from Mr. Vishwanath Pratap Singh,
so you'll admit that it's Narendra Modi now?
And the government lasted barely 10 months.
That's not the point. The point is, do you admit that?
At this point in time, the personality quotient, given the very structured nature of, or the very unstructured and the very fragmented nature of our polity, is coming from different people.
You're saying it in other words, you're saying there's a personality quotient, but you're not admitting it's Narendra Modi.
Well, in the sense, at this point in time, if you look at it in a state election context, I do not think that there is a personality quotient for the person that you are attributing it to.
So Manish Tewari will admit that it is a personality quotient that has been playing in these elections, but the credit will not go to Narendra Modi. That is something Manish Tewari will stop short of saying. We enjoyed having him on Real Politik. Next week, yet another political personality to break down politics for us on the Real Politik.